And I was laying on the floor like, fuck, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, I probably am not. It's probably just anxiety or some dumb shit like that. So I was like, I'll sleep it off. So I like went to bed and then woke up the next day and was like, fuck, it still feels that way. But I was like, I still think it's anxiety. So I was like, I'm going to go mountain biking and like try to see if this is like, see if my heart can take mountain biking. I mountain biked for like 20 minutes and I was like, no, it cannot. So I'm going to go home. So I went home. It was like midday at this point. I was like, I'm going to lay in bed. If it still feels this way by like 3 p.m., I'll go to the hospital. So it still felt that way by 3 p.m. I was like, all right, I'm going to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack, or I think I had a heart attack or something. And they were like, all right, we'll give you an EKG. So they did that. They were like, your heart looks fine. And they were like, maybe it's something like on your chest wall or something. So we'll give you like a lung x-ray. So they gave me a lung x-ray and they were like, all right, you don't have pneumonia. There's no blockages. Like your heart looks like it's the normal size and everything. And they gave me a blood test and they were like, everything in your blood looks fine. And then they gave me a COVID test and they were like, you have COVID, you fucking dumbass.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome to the Mr. Bill Podcast. I'm Anand Harsh, editor-in-chief of TheUnz.com, Bill's manager and landlord. Today's guest is Conrank. He's a staple member of the Circus Records team, and he's got some big releases in the pipeline. Bass music fans know this man well. He's from China and half speaks Mandarin, and lives in France and half speaks French. But lucky for you, this interview is conducted fully in English. Apologies in advance for the audio quality, as we had some issues and had to use the Zoom recording, so please excuse any dropouts or coughs or any of that stuff. The joys of recording remotely. We are up and running on MrBillsTunes.com for this podcast. By subscribing for a low, low rate, you can get the podcast a week early and support the show. And if you bump up to the regular tier, you get all the things that hardcore Abletoners get, like tutorials, sample packs, streams, project files, and more. Bill's been adding more micro tutorials to his HCA feed, and you can get this podcast in your podcatcher of choice if you subscribe through the site. Kill Bill, the collaborative project with Mr. Bill and Killsmith, is hitting Portland on April 22nd and Seattle on April 23rd. Bill's at Disco Pussy in Vegas on May 3rd and Soundwell in Salt Lake City on May 7th. Both of those shows are with Ben and Canty of Zebler and Canty Experience. On Sunday, May 8th, he's headlining Soulfest in Florida. Bigfoot Electro is on Memorial Day weekend in Tennessee, and Tribal Connection is in Ohio on June 3rd. More Kill Bill and original flavored Mr. Bill dates are coming soon. Tickets at Linktree/Mr. Bill's Tunes. Keeping it tight today, enjoy Bill's chat with Conrank.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Hey, you are listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Hey, you're 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 listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast. Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Hey, you're listening to the Mr. Bill Podcast.
Recording in progress. It sounds like you're starting a TikTok viral video.
Yeah, I know, it's like that weird fucking lady's voice who's like, I heard that if you watch this, you'll start laughing in 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Let me just turn my mic down a tiny bit because I'm peaking a little bit in Ableton. Sec. This was the best I could do mic-wise, a gaming headset.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
Yeah? Okay, wicked.
Yeah, honestly, gaming headsets like not that bad. I was writing music the other day with my buddy, who was I writing music with? Killsmith, and he was like out here on the studio speakers, and I was in my room on these like gaming headphones that Mousetrap sent me, which were just like the Logitech G series things or whatever. Yeah. And honestly, like the headphone component of those were not that bad, and the mic was like fine as well.
Yeah, I mean, this I did a little test this morning, and it's good. It seems to be fine. You just can't put the microphone in front of your. You know, you initially do that thing where you just put it in front, like you're in Top Gun. You know.
Right.
then yeah, and then you very quickly learn that it sounds like shit because every time any kind of air comes out of your mouth, it just clips.
Yeah,
So
totally.
we made it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Apologies, it took so long. I know we were trying to plan to do this in like November, and then December.
Well, that was my
happened,
fault. That was me messing up on that one.
Yeah. I have like my life shit has just like changed a bunch recently. So this is actually the first podcast I've recorded in months. Like,
oh really?
In like over 2 months. The reason being is I like just had a bunch of bullshit happen in my life, and I ended up moving from San Francisco to Charlottesville, Virginia, and now I live with my manager in Virginia.
Wow.
Pretty big changes. So I had to like move my entire studio here and just like kind of reset my entire life up here, and that was a big move.
Yeah,
like
that's a massive move going from San Fran to Charlottesville. I don't know if I've been to Charlottesville. I'm trying to think. I've been to Charlotte.
Yeah.
But
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty small town. I mean, there's not like a ton of shows here. I played one show here in 2016 at some like real small venue, and there's like, I don't know, 50 people at it or something. It's the city you probably would play around here is the closest city you would probably play around here is like either Washington or Richmond or Raleigh or something like that.
I'm in DC at the moment.
Oh,
so
cool.
I'm not actually far from you.
Yeah.
Right?
No, not that far.
I mean, it's near Virginia. I know that.
It's about a 2-hour drive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. What are you doing in DC?
I've got friends here, and so most of my shows at the moment are East Coast. So I'm just literally like in between shows, just hanging out here.
Cool, man.
Are you doing? Makes sense.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Hey, it's like setting up kind of like a home base for tours.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just feel, especially if it's like 5 weeks, sometimes you can feel really like, I hate living out of a suitcase. It frustrates me. Do you know what I mean? So if you've just got a bit of a base, so then you don't have to drag everything everywhere. It can be a little bit more kind of like, okay, I've got this space where I can chill, and then I go away, do shows, come back, rather than constantly being in a state of like movement. It can be a bit much sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And then that allows you also to kind of not have to take a bunch of shitty shows too, right? Like you can just sort of do the ones on the weekends that are good rather than trying to fill up like every Monday through Friday as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's been like that. It's like, I mean, God, we're all experiencing just this ridiculous time in our lives where everything got just shot to shit, you know, with COVID. Every artist in the world just scrambling and dealing with crap. And I mean, I just feel massively blessed to even be over in the US doing shows. And yeah, it's been one of those situations where we've been lucky enough to like fill, you know, every weekend for, you know, a few weeks, and good enough for me to get back out here and do my thing. So it's been, it's awesome to be able to do that, and then to have like a base in between, not have to sit in hotels, because it can, even if the budgets allow, it can be really depressing sitting in a hotel on your own, you know, like it sometimes can be great. Like sometimes you could be like enjoying a little bit of solitude.
I feel you, man. Being in hotels is often, especially if it's like a shitty hotel out in the middle of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
You're like, the only restaurant in town is like an IHOP across the road or something. And like,
yeah. And then if you want to go somewhere nice for dinner, it's like an $80 round trip in an Uber. And you're like, right, so I'm going to go to Chipotle, have dinner, and it's going to cost me $100. I'm not sure I'm down for that. So it's another night eating out of the petrol station, you know?
Yep. Nice. Chipotle is your idea of a nice dinner?
Well, not a nice dinner, but like say that's the closest thing. And you're just like, okay, well, I'll you know, I'll take an Uber that way for 15, 20 minutes, and it costs like $30, and then get there, have food. I'd say like Chipotle is a not terrible fast food option. You know what I mean? I class that as a not a bad fast food option. It wouldn't be like my go-to, but if I was sitting in a hotel and surrounding me was like, I don't know, McDonald's, Hardee's, or Carl's Jr., or whatever you want to call it, Quiznos, Subway, and a Chipotle, I'd be straight into Chipotle.
Yeah, agreed. It's not that bad. I mean, what their whole like shtick is that they use like what organic shit or something. I don't know.
Supposedly, you're constantly hearing different versions of it, but I don't know. I've never got sick from it, so that's a good start.
Right, and it doesn't make you feel like shit unless you get like the bowl and then you eat the entire bowl.
Which is exactly what I did the other day. But luckily,
Right.
I didn't have a show that night. I went into where was I playing? Cincinnati, Newport, and I went in the day before, and I went out for lunch, and ended up having, I got a massive bowl, and it you know when you get it and it just looks fucking huge, like you're just like, there's no way I'm eating all of that, and then 20 minutes later you're like, how the fuck did I eat all of that?
You're like, shit, it's happened again.
Yeah, and then I just went back to the hotel and slept so well. But I had a weird one where I was staying in Montreal actually, and like going back to that kind of whole, lonely in a hotel thing, where I rented this hotel and it looked really good, and it was like one of those service apartment hotel type things where you got a kitchen and all that kind of stuff, and it was in a good area. It was downtown in Montreal. I thought, all right, cool, this would be good. And I just got there, and it was like just the loneliness swept over me as I walked into the reception. It was one of those. It was a vibe, It was just like, it felt like this place hasn't had a lick of paint for about 20 years, and no soul has ever, kind of come out of here alive. And the only thing I could do, I just ended up going and looking for bars, like lunch and dinner. I just ended up getting pissed for like a week, You end up becoming friends with the barman, You like go, oh, it's him again. How you doing? Yeah, good. Not a bad day. You feel like you're in Cheers,
Were they speaking French there?
They were that. Yeah, I mean, I assume so. At that time, I knew oui and non and bonjour and merci and stuff like that, and that was about it. So at that time, I wasn't living in France and had no idea I was really going to live in France at some point. So I can't really remember. I do remember, however, that I walked into a supermarket, and it turned out to be a Chinese supermarket, and I ended up like chatting away in Chinese to the staff, to their absolute shock, which was kind of
That's awesome. Do you speak like fluent Chinese then, or like close? Or
there was a time when I got good, not fluent,
right. But like good enough to hold a sort of like basic conversation or
conversation. Like, yeah. Right. But cool, I think those days are gone. Like it's one of those things. I very quickly lose stuff like that. Like, however, I reckon if I went back to China and was there for like a couple of weeks, it would just come back up. But I'd have this weird thing where I feel like my brain only allows 2 languages in it at one time. So like when I first moved to France, I'd sit down and try and order things or say something, and it would just, because it wasn't English, my brain would initially go to Chinese. So I'd be like thanking them and asking for things in Chinese, and just being like, why the fuck am I speaking Chinese in France? Like, what's going on? And then the opposite, like my missus would call her mum and, be like, oh, say hello to, and I'd start going into French. It's like, I can't seem to just pick one or pick between the two. Do you know what I mean? It seems to be, there's only room for one. And now it's French, and Chinese has taken a back thing. I don't understand, like bilingual people, like proper bilingual. That's some next level shit.
Right, or multilingual people, right? Like people who can just speak like 4 or 5 languages.
Yeah, sorry, multilingual. Yeah,
yeah.
My missus is great at that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you just have to like start from a young age. It's like one of those extremely complicated things that just has to, I think, be drilled into you whilst your brain is still in that like extremely plastic or plastique, whatever it's called. Like
yeah, I know.
Your brain has to be in like this state of plasticity or whatever to be able to. What does that even mean?
Plasticine. It's got to be just kind of like plasticine. There you go.
Your brain is just like got to be all Gumby, you know. And, then you can.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't that. I mean, being a native English speaker, we obviously get away with murder, not having to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even countries like India, which have, I think, something. It's either 500 or like 5,000 languages there. It's like insane. Like if you go to, I don't know if you've been to India, but like, if you go to India and then you drive like 80 kilometers in like any direction, they speak a whole different language basically. And
I feel like it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that in China. There's so many local dialects. I mean, now it's like
these aren't dialects though. These are like completely different languages. Like yeah, let me look at Indian language. I mean, Hindi is like the main one, but then the actual mother tongue of India is English, because they've all just decided upon like, they're like, we can't decide on any because, there's like way too many.
Well, when I say dialect, so like, for example, where my missus like mum lives, which is like a 40-minute train ride out of Shanghai, they speak like Wuxi dialect. They speak a certain dialect, but it's so different from Mandarin that Wuxi dialect, to someone who only speaks Mandarin, they wouldn't understand. It's like all these dialects, although their dialects are completely different. If that makes sense. So it is basically like another language. It's pretty mental.
Yeah, the Wikipedia here for Indian language is saying, according to a census in 2001, India has 122 major languages and about 1,600 other languages.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane, right? But then they said the figures of other sources vary primarily due to the differences in the definition between the terms language and dialect. But yeah, still, I mean, like from what I heard just from people hanging out there, I was like, so you're telling me like you can't go, across town and understand the people over there? And they're like, nope. So we just have to speak English.
That's so mental, isn't it? Like it's such a crazy thing that it's kind of hard for us to comprehend that to a certain extent, Like,
yeah, I mean, like doing a tour in America, like if that was the same deal here and nobody spoke like a single language, forget about it. It's like,
imagine going across the state line and not being able to understand what was going on.
Right. I mean, I assume it's like probably similar touring around Europe, which I haven't done. Right. It's like you probably jump across and then they just speak French. You jump across, they speak Spanish, and like. But then
I remember driving across into France, stopped for like petrol there. Spoke a bit of French, then forgot that I'd crossed into Switzerland, started speaking French, and they were like a bit confused. Then didn't realize I'd hit Italy, and then tried speaking like Swiss, like basically, it's just basically German, isn't it? Swiss, it's kind of similar to German, I think. Someone's going to call me out on that. I think it is, from what I remember. Anyway, and then tried to speak Swiss to the Italians. So I was just like, I was constantly one step behind. I just kind of kept stopping and trying to talk and just failing miserably.
So in Europe, you can just drive into other countries. You don't have to stop for customs or anything. Like how do you accidentally? I didn't realize you could just accidentally end up in another country.
Oh yeah, easily. So I live down right by the Spanish border. And maybe I think I'm like 30 minutes from the Spanish border, something like that. If I just drive south. Now with COVID, there's actually police there, but it's just a bridge. I mean, there was no one there checking or anything like that. You just go in and out. But now there's this whole kind of thing of like checking vaccination cards and stuff as you go in and out. So now they have police, but generally no, like you're good. You just drive around and go wherever you want. And when the initial idea, move to France, we can just cruise around, go okay, everything's good. But obviously with current situations, it's not quite that simple. Right. But it's still awesome down there.
Right. So was your decision to move to France just to be closer to the UK, but like somewhat visa related for your wife or something, or like what was the actual?
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I feel like my entire life is just like a last minute. Hey, let's do this. Fuck it. Why not? Let's see how it goes.
Right.
Moving to China was that. Like giving up everything and starting music was kind of like it's something I'd always wanted to do, but it was just one day I was like, hey, well, let's just do it. Like, how bad could it be?
Right. So you had like a defined moment there for music?
I think so. Yeah. I remember there was like this one moment where I was just kind of getting frustrated with what I was doing, and my ex had just gone away for like 6 weeks, and so I was just like on my own for that period, and I literally just kind of was like, right, I'm going to sit down and learn Logic Pro, and I'm just going to sit here and do it for the next 6 weeks. And by the end of that 6 weeks, I'd written maybe 3 songs that I, at the time, felt I was happy with. Come up with the name Conrank, started the label Rankadank, which is like, I was like, right, I like to have a goal at the end of things, right? So if I'm if I'm making a song, I don't want to feel like it's got nowhere to go. And even if it means me starting a little label and releasing it myself, I felt like I wanted to have a place for it. So I just started the label so that I could put stuff out on Beatport. And at the time it was like, you didn't Spotify. You couldn't even just throw things up on Spotify at that point. So, but yeah, I was basically just like organizing to have it put everywhere. And that was it. That was kind of the start of it, really. I was making kind of like autonomic, like D&B, like, D-bridge kind of vibes. That was what I was into at that point. And yeah, it was definitely kind of a like something I'd wanted to do for, and I DJ'd for years. And I always loved doing that, but I really wanted a lot of people around me. I was around a lot of people in the music industry, and I just loved that they were able to make beats. And I had no concept at that time. I remember people talking to me about having, external sound cards and, UAD satellite boxes. And I was like, I don't understand how a sound card that's outside of your computer can make a song sound better, because I didn't understand the concept of mixing down, right? So I was like, how can this external thing, I was like talking to people, I'm like, does it go out and then run through? Is it like an analog thing where it runs through? And they're like, no, it's just like, I couldn't quite get my head around all these things about mixing down and having like higher quality monitors. And I mean, it quite quickly snapped into place when I started doing it myself. But I was DJing and stuff, and I really wanted to learn it. And so as soon as I kind of started learning it, I was addicted. That was it. It was just like, and I'm a bit ADD-ish. Like it's hard for me to focus sometimes, but with music, it's I'm locked in, to the annoyance of most people around me.
Yeah, totally. Once you get into that flow state, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of the same. I've been like that recently here, actually, because I mean, there's just not a lot to do in Charlottesville, so I've just been which is good. I mean, like, me being in areas where there's like fuck all to do is like great for me musically. I think I think boredom is like an amazing precursor to creativity.
Oh man, like where I am now, I was always thinking at some point in my music career, I want to be at that moment where I don't have to be in a big city. Like my career is moving to the point where I don't need to be like socializing 5 nights a week, networking, you know what I mean? Like as much as I like to socialize, I also quite like a little bit of solitude when I'm making music and headspace, you know what I mean? And I live in a town with 4,500 people. It's fucking tiny, but it's beautiful, and that's inspiration in itself, And you got the coast kind of nearby, and you got rivers, and you can go swimming in the rivers, and beautiful blue water, and you've got animals and trees, and it's just a really lovely place to be. But yeah, there's not a huge amount going on. You kind of make your own fun, but that's great because it means that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, basically I'm kind of like a 9 to 5er when it comes to producing. Like I wake up, have my coffee, exercise, walk the dog, and then I'm in the studio, and then I'm there until 6, 7, and then I'm done. So I'm not so much kind of like a nighttime person. So I really do treat it kind of like a day-to-day job kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I've tried to do that in the past, and for periods of time it's worked for me. But I often find the thing that seems to work the best for me, and it's like completely unhealthy and fucked, is I'll just do like a 2 or 3 day straight stint, and then I'll sleep for a day, and then I'll do like another 1.5, 2 days,
really?
and then I'll sleep. Yeah, it's
Damn.
fucked. Dude, that's what I've been doing for like the last
God,
2
crazy.
weeks. That's why I slept in today, because like my shit lately, my sleep schedule has just been ridiculous. Like I've been just doing like these crazy stints, and then like I'll just get like way too locked in, and then I'll look at the clock and I'll be like, and I'm in a basement too, so there's no windows. So I'll be like, oh fuck, it's like 10 a.m. I didn't even realize. I'm like, shit, should I go to bed now or should I just push it through? So I just push it through to the next night.
God.
And then same thing. Yeah, it's fucked. But like I've been
I don't think I
productive,
could do like a full, I mean, I say I couldn't do it, but
remove the windows from your room though, and everything changes. Like once you lose track of time. And this is the second studio I've had where like there's been no windows. I was in a studio in Denver when I lived there. There was I booked out a room just at this place, and it was called Doghouse Music Studios, and it's the studio that Patrick Dirt Monkey took over after I left.
Right.
And same deal. It's like you go into a facility and there's just like a locked away rehearsal studio. It's like a rehearsal place for bands. I converted it into a music studio, and the same thing would happen there because there's no natural light. You know, your brain or like your natural clock or whatever just like doesn't do its thing if it doesn't see the sun go down and come up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just feel kind of a way, like I don't know how to explain it, but as soon as the evening comes, I'm like, it's relaxing time. Like I just have this kind of weird thing. It's not even tiredness. It's just like I kind of reach that moment where I'm just like, okay, it's evening time now. I mean, there are exceptions, but like I'll have weird shit where I'm just like mastering something and it's frustrating me, and then I'll try and leave it, and then I'll just suddenly like wake up at 1 a.m, or like just suddenly like be, no, I've got to keep working on it, you know what I mean? And then I'm locked in. But yeah, in general, but when I'm jet lagged, when I seem to be able to move countries and change my sleep pattern quite easily. But when I'm like at home, my sleep pattern's pretty solid. Like I pretty much just like 12 till 8, basically, I kind of sleep. And then the rest of the time I get into it. It's healthy for me to get into that kind of like pattern. As soon as I'm out of that pattern, I find it hard to like operate a little bit.
Just manage your life, basically.
Yeah, I do. It just all kind of goes to shit, you know?
It's just, same with me, dude. It's like, it's not like when I'm doing these stints, I'm managing my life properly. Like I'm like ignoring emails. I'm like ignoring paper mail. Like I'm ignoring fucking feeding my sourdough starter. I'm like, everything turns to shit for sure. But like I get a lot of music written. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. I've been doing I've been in a kind of interesting one recently, because my music's taking new paths and it's going in new directions, which I'm really enjoying. But I've also been working with other artists. Like I've been working with like a multi-instrumentalist guy called Iggy, and a guitarist called Gwen, who are both Gwen's French and Iggy's actually British. Like I've been working with them in the studio, and it's been so amazing. Like just having someone to bounce ideas off. It's not like, it's different than when you work on a collab. Like I actually find working on a collab in the same place as someone quite hard. I don't know why.
Right. Well, it's like you're performing for another producer, right? And it's almost like you're trying to like show off for them a bit, but then it's almost like you're trying too hard and like you're like throwing too many effects on the sound or something when it doesn't really.
I very rarely find that thing to work. Like one time, me and Yeti, like we rented a cabin in the woods when we were on tour together, and like we just swapped laptops. So we'd both be sitting there on headphones. I'd do 30 minutes on his, he'd do 30 minutes on mine. We swap. But yeah, I've been working with Iggy and Gwen, and it's been fucking sick. Like, just like I've got an idea in my head and I'm like, yo, play this, try playing that. And they'll, jump on the guitar, jump on the bass, and then I'll jump on the bass and they'll be on the guitar. And then and also I'm writing lyrics now. Like Iggy's a vocalist, so he's been working with me on just like improving like the way I do my vocals and all that kind of stuff, and trying to push me, like having someone to push you, because you're in your own little echo chamber in the studio, right? And you'll be like, no, I can't do that. That's not something that Conrank does. Like, that's not the way he does things. So I can't do it. And then having someone there that's just like, just fucking try it. Like, why don't you try that? That could be really dope. And then you kind of force yourself to try it. And also like when you like anything, it could be arrangement or what synth you go for. Like having someone there to just be like, hey, why don't you like try doing this? Like, or doing that. It's been great. So for the like November, December, and a bit of October, most of my studio sessions, I've had someone in there with me for some of the time, like working with me on things. And it's been such an amazing creative kind of like, I feel like I've broken out of this box that maybe I felt like I got stuck in a little bit. But it's the same. It's just been like 9 till 5, like all day kind of vibes. But Monday to Friday, and then the weekend comes. Sometimes I keep going, but yeah, like bringing in instruments and stuff and working with my own voice has been like such a amazing experience. Like I feel so much more complete with the music I'm making now than I've ever felt, I think.
Totally. Yeah. I feel the same way whenever I try and like break out of the box and just do some different shit. And I find generally the precursor for me doing that is just saying like, fuck it. Like, I don't give a shit what other people are going to think about it. Cause I find it's so easy to get stuck in that like dubstep box where essentially what you're doing is making music for a hypothetical audience in your head based off past audiences that you've played for, right? Or based off past audiences that you've seen on the internet listening to certain things. Like you'll be like, oh, this track did well on Wakan, and in my mind this is what the people of that label are like, and this is what they enjoy, and these are like
what they want. Exactly. So then you start to like, kind of model it, right,
and you start to just try and exactly like be an architect and just redesign something for this like hypothetical person that technically doesn't really exist, maybe. And then you just start like making this formulaic bullshit that's never really fulfilling. But I find for at least me personally, whenever I just say, fuck it, like I'm just gonna make whatever I want, that's generally not only when I feel the most fulfilled, but it's also when the music gets received the best as well, I find, because people are like, oh shit, like I can actually feel that you're vibing with this. And I feel like when you're vibing with something, then other people are more likely to vibe with it as well, right? It's like if you're making something that's just you're not vibing with and you think is kind of cookie cutter bullshit, then there's a good chance that like most other people listening to it are probably also going to feel that way.
It's kind of scary though. Like the last year's been, it's like a really scary situation to like put out stuff that feels a bit different. And
well, your career sort of depends on it, right? Like your money, like your finances depend on this shit. Like,
but maybe that's the best time to do it, when when COVID has caused the finances to be an absolute shit show anyway, because of no shows. So right, let's take these chances right now. But I don't know, like I'm not, as long as you're not like making that change because you feel forced into it, as long as you're making that change because that's how you feel inside and that's what you want to do, then you're being true to yourself as an artist. Like sometimes you see people like having a go at artists for changing what they do. Like, you're not being true to your sound. No, I am. I'm actually being true to my sound. Now I'm actually doing what I really want to do. Not that I don't think I've ever like put stuff out particularly that like I wouldn't have wanted to put out or anything like that. But, you know, I was definitely constantly looking for, okay, what, like I always kind of wanted to get the bandy stuff and like the guitars going and stuff like that. But I was kind of waiting for it to make sense in my own head and waiting for that creativity to work. I didn't want to force that. Do you know what I mean? Because like you can have an idea, but just because you have that idea doesn't mean you're ready to like.
It doesn't mean you have the ability to execute it exactly.
Yeah. Execute. That's the word I was thinking. Yeah, you don't have the ability to execute, and you may not have the ideas like that make it a reality, right? But I feel like it was just. I feel like COVID and having that headspace because you're constantly in this like this kind of like circle, right? Of like touring. Okay, I've got a month off. I better make some bangers ready for the next tour. Okay, right. Touring again. Right, I got a month off. More bangers ready for the next tour. And so you're just stuck in that, right? Which is it's not a bad thing. It's just part of what what we do. So to suddenly have like almost 2 years of not necessarily thinking about bangers for shows, more thinking about what do I want to release. I think that was just it couldn't have been more of a perfect moment,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I felt kind of like a little bit of survivor's guilt, I think, through the pandemic because financially I was okay just because like I'd set up my sort of financial shit to be mostly online anyway.
Oh,
and like
nice.
The show income is like, something I definitely...
You should feel guilty, Bill, for fuck's sakes.
I do. I still do. Rather than regret. But yeah, I felt a little bad about it, but at the same time, I agree with you. Like I felt like kind of blessed a little bit to be like, fuck, like no, it's like this perfect chunk of time in which we don't have to worry about making bangers for the next tour because you do get stuck in that cycle, and it's I don't think it's the most artistically fulfilling or interesting cycle to be in. Yeah, for sure. And it also made, I think, for some of us, like the fact that we didn't tour for 2 years and managed to just about survive maybe chilled us out a little bit in the sense that, there was always that, right, I need another tour. I've got to keep that money coming in. I've got to keep going. Right. But it's also meant that I've like really changed my life during that period as well to make it much less. I don't need as much to live. Do you know what I mean? Now, like the state I am now compared to the state I was in before COVID, I needed much more income coming in for rent and this and that and lots of, various bits and bobs. And now I feel like it's kind of like slowly just whittled it down to the point where it's like adopted a more modest lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, I keep my car because I fucking love my car, but it definitely is. It's definitely like a
kind of car do you have?
A Porsche 986.
What?
And it's my baby. But
that sounds nice. I gotta Google what that is. Wait,
Porsche 986S.
986S. Let's have a look. I'm not a car guy, so like I have no idea. Oh, dude, this thing looks fucking sweet. A Porsche Boxster.
Yeah, Porsche Boxster 986. It's lovely, man, and it's quick. 3.2 liter. Engine in the back. It fucking goes. It's great fun.
Did you buy that in the UK or in France?
Yeah, I bought it in the UK. And then... How
much do these things cost, if you don't mind me asking? I guess I could find out on the internet. Yeah.
So it depends where you buy it. If you buy it in the US, you're looking at like 30 grand. If you buy it in France, they're about 25 grand. I got it for like under 10 grand because I bought it at the bottom of the market.
Wait, so during COVID?
Yeah. So basically there was this period where just before COVID where they had bottomed out. But then all the forums and stuff I was looking on, because I've been a Porsche fan since I was a kid.
Right.
And all the forums I was looking on were like, yo, it's about to hit, they're about to become classics.
Mm-hmm.
And when they become classics, the market's just going to start rising. And and you've seen it before with like older Porsches, like they just start getting more and more expensive. And I managed to get it at this like dip in the market where it was like, I got it for like $7,000 or something.
Jesus.
And and now it's just like rising and rising and rising every year. It's adding, people are adding, you're adding fucking zeros and stuff. So I just got it at the right time. It was a bit of a, like the rest of my life is, a bit of a like last minute, suddenly saw it online, got someone to check it out and just pulled the trigger without telling anyone. And then called my missus and were like, hey, I bought a Porsche. But I was like, hey, it's fine. 2020 is going to be a sick year, bro. It's going to be like just money rolling in, tours. And then obviously, but like, I'm going to keep that car till the day I die, like, it's awesome.
Damn, $7,000 for that car is so good. I'm basically looking at another car now because I didn't want to like drive my car across the country from San Francisco to Virginia. So I just sold my car there, or I'm trying to sell my car there, and then just flew over. But yeah, shit, I've been looking at cars over here, and I'm probably going to end up spending about the same, like $7,000 or something. And I'm definitely not looking at it. There's definitely no Porsches out there for that price. The shit I'm like looking at is like Ford Explorer, like ex-police trucks and shit.
Nice. That would be sick though.
They're pretty tight.
Well, the market, the secondhand car market in the UK is like you can get like the most amazing, especially if you buy at the right time, you can get some amazing deals. Like I remember there was this like classic, Mercedes, or was it BMW? Can't remember. That was selling for like dirt cheap, like 10 years ago in the UK, and they were like, and then they became classics, and now you can't buy one. They're like $50,000, like they're crazy money.
I wonder if it's even worth buying a secondhand car in the UK and shipping it or something. I mean, as far as like left-hand drives go, I'm fine with them because they're the same as in Australia. But. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Yeah, that's the kind of annoying thing is my car's like, the wheel is on the right. So it's a bit annoying when you're driving on the right because you're not in the middle of the lane, you know what I mean? It's a little bit frustrating.
That's actually got to fuck you up a bit because like I switch obviously between here and Australia, not that often, but enough. And pretty much the way that I remember how I'm on the right side of the road is I always just line up the front corner of my bonnet with the center of the road, and then you're fine. Doesn't matter which country you're in, right? Unless you're in a car that's the opposite hand drive to the country side driving, and then it's all fucked up.
Yeah. So I the thing I find the most annoying is like overtaking. I can't, like, if I'm trying to overtake, I'm like, fucking desperately trying to see. Also the tolls. Because you gotta like
lean over and
but because in France, so in the UK we do road tax, right? But in France they have tolls, and I never realized until I moved there that the reason they have tolls is because they don't charge you road tax. That is the road tax. So like in the UK, we pay like 30 quid a month or 27 quid a month for road tax. Whereas in France, you don't pay any road tax. You just pay tolls. But you can even get around without going through tolls. Like if you want to drive a slightly longer route on smaller roads, you can get out. You can get away with doing it with no tolls as well. But I've got a little thing now that goes on the top of my window. So it just goes boop. I just like drive up to the toll and it boops and I'm through. So yeah, it's all good.
Do they pay it if they don't drive a car?
Oh no, you don't pay a road tax if you don't drive a car. But if you own a car, you have to pay road tax, even if you drive that car once every 6 months.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's not completely fair to those who don't drive a lot, and those who drive way too much. Like maybe I
think both work. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, both work.
Who has better roads? Because that's probably who works the best.
France, I have to say, France's roads are way less like congested.
Maybe it's just less
way
people
less congested. Yeah, maybe it's because it's more sprawled. Like UK is like smaller and everyone's compacted in. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you got lots of cities close by,
You're originally
But
from London, yeah? Is it?
Yeah, so my family's from Wimbledon, but I was brought up. My mum moved out down to Horsham, which is a little town between London and Brighton, and that's where I grew up. And it was wicked because I had, 40 minutes on a train north. I could be in London and going out when I was, 17, and 30, 40 minutes south, and I was in Brighton, which had an amazing like hip hop scene and drum and bass scene and stuff. It was banging. You got like wicked clubs down there. It was really, really, it was a great little position to be in, but you're also in like a small town where it was pretty chill.
Yeah, I feel like the UK scene in general is just insane. Yo, mind if I go and get some water quickly?
You go wild. Go wild, my friend. Just do it a little bit more compressed.
Yeah, sounds fine. But yeah, man, I've had this like persistent cough for just forever. And I don't know what the fuck it is, but like I just switched health insurance and I was like looking through on the app and it's like, what symptoms do you have? Like, what's your health history, all that bullshit. And persistent cough was actually one of the symptoms. And it's the first time I've ever been like, oh, wow, like it is a symptom. Like maybe there's a solvable problem here. And so I put that in and hopefully I'll figure out what it is at some point.
I've got, I've got a little, I had like food poisoning last week. And that was really fun. But like, 2 weeks ago or something, this little cough just started, just tiny, just there in the bottom, like followed through, and it's still there, and it's just really, really annoying. And some nights you'll be like lying there trying to go to sleep, and it will just slowly, just before you sleep, it will tickle the back of your throat, and you're like wide awake. It's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, I need to figure out what it is. I mean, people who have been listening to the podcast for a while probably have just heard it, and people who have watched my tutorials for a long time or streams, they like know that I'm just a coffee motherfucker. But yeah, it was no good during COVID because I always felt like, oh man, everyone's going to think like I'm fucking sick and like. But yeah, no, I actually had COVID at the end of December, and it was fucking horrible. I basically like I've had both shots and the booster. Same. And I still fucking got it. And damn. I hadn't even been like going, I went and did a show in Chicago, and then I think that's where I got it. And dude, it was so bad that like I was lying on my lounge room floor and I was like thinking I was having a heart attack. Cause like my whole chest was like so tight, and I didn't even consider that I could have COVID, right? So I went to the ER. Well, actually what I did was like, I'll tell the whole story. I basically was like I was coughing a little bit and I was laying on the floor like, fuck, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, I probably am not. It's probably just anxiety or some dumb shit like that. So I was like, I'll sleep it off. So I like went to bed and then woke up the next day and was like, fuck, it still feels that way. But I was like, I still think it's anxiety. So I was like, I'm going to go mountain biking and like try to see if this is like, see if my heart can take mountain biking. I mountain biked for like 20 minutes and I was like, no, it cannot. So I'm going to go home. So I went home. It was like midday at this point. I was like, I'm going to lay in bed. If it still feels this way by like 3 p.m., I'll go to the hospital. So it still felt that way by 3 p.m. I was like, all right, I'm going to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack, or I think I had a heart attack or something. And they were like, all right, we'll give you an EKG. So they did that. They were like, your heart looks fine. And then they're like, maybe it's something like on your chest wall or something. So we'll give you like a lung x-ray. So they gave me a lung x-ray and they were like, all right, you don't have pneumonia. There's no blockages. Like your heart looks like it's the normal size and everything. And they gave me a blood test and they're like, everything in your blood looks fine. And then they gave me a COVID test and they were like, you have COVID, you fucking dumbass guy.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But dude,
man.
I was like,
so what were your
just
symptoms?
like, man,
Did you have
I
like
literally
fever and shit, or
sorry, say that again.
Did you have like a fever and stuff, or was it just like
no,
purely
no fever, no fatigue, no like it was a little bit of a dry cough, but not even really. It was literally just like insane tightness of my chest.
Damn.
Yeah, like brutal. It felt like someone had been grabbing like both sides of my chest and like pulling back on it, like in the middle was just insanely tight. And
dude.
also like that tightness like emanated up into my sort of throat, and I was getting like tightness in the jaw and shit, which is also like a sign of heart shit. And like the pain was also like in my shoulder and like in the back of my shoulder, which is also like heart symptoms basically.
Really?
And yeah, like every symptom I had was like but then again I was looking on WebMD. That's a great way to give yourself anxiety as well.
Right. Yeah.
and these are all also symptoms of anxiety too. So it's like,
the other, I think I got it at the end of 2019. I was like, me and Dirt Monkey were touring, and it was like the last show of the year for me, apart from like New Year's Eve. It was the last show before I like finished for Christmas. And I basically just remember having this like ridiculous like fever. My lungs were hurting. Like I could bet, and I had to do like a 2-hour set. It was, or an hour and a half, something like that. But if anyone's seen me play, like they know I'm very active on stage. I jump around like a baboon, So like I was just in pain, like I was coughing and my lungs were messed up and I had like a fever and stuff like that. But at the time I was just like, okay, I've caught a little bug like along the way, like on tour, or like I've overdone it or whatever. Like my body's just telling me. So I, just did the show and was just dying through the set. And then, and then I went to Cali and like stayed with my mate down there. And he got whatever I had and had exactly the same symptoms. And then obviously like 2020 hit and all the news came out, and I was like, oh shit, like that's literally the exact symptoms I had in December. I wonder if it was already here, and some people say it was. I don't know. Like I can't remember.
I would say at the end of 2019, the chances that it was COVID were probably pretty low. Because I had similar shit. I mean, like I was sick as fuck at like the end of 2019, and then I was sick again in like in about like mid-March, which is around about when COVID started becoming like a big thing. And I talked to my doctor about it, and he was just like, yeah, it's probably not COVID unless you've like traveled to China, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? You probably had been in China, right?
Yeah, but not since, at that point, I hadn't been since like early summer. I think I'd been away for that long. So yeah, it probably isn't. It was just always in my head, like I wonder if it's possible. I wonder if that's a possibility. You know what I mean?
You could get. I mean, probably not anymore, but you could have got tested for antibodies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the I got the antibody test in, I want to say like June of 2020 or something, because same thing, I was also curious as to whether or not I'd had it already, and they were like, you don't have antibodies. And as soon as I realized I didn't have antibodies, because I'd been kind of half living like I did, just off assumption that I might have had it. As soon as I found out I didn't have it, I was like, all right, fuck, I gotta like be careful. And it made me live my life a little differently, for sure. A lot different.
Yeah, when I went back, I went and played Sunset Festival like last, what was it, May? Was it August? I think it was May or something. And that was like the first show back after COVID. And I was just like walking around backstage just with a mask on. Just no one had masks on. Everyone was just like, woo, we're back, baby. And I was like really nervous. I was like, oh my God. Like even though I had my jabs, I was still like really nervous about like
the jabs don't mean shit, dude. Like at this point with Omicron, it's like you can pick it up regardless of whether or not you've been vaccinated. And as far as I know, or as far as I've heard, you can just keep getting reinfected. It's ridiculous.
What like after you've got it, what's the period after you've got it? Is it like 3 months or something that they reckon that you can't like get it again or something?
I don't know for sure, but I think I've heard of people having Omicron multiple times at this point.
Oh, yeah, I can't even imagine. That would just be horrible, getting it once and it being like really nasty. I suppose if it's just like if what you feel is like a little cold, if some people get a little cold or whatever, because everybody gets affected differently, right?
Totally. Oh,
like
mine was not
really bad.
Yeah, I would say mine was not like a little cold. It was like full blown like lung tightness. So That was the really only symptom, though. There was nothing else.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean you specifically. Just like whoever,
like
like you, as in a proverbial you.
right,
but like
one.
yeah, like one of my friends got it a few weeks ago, and he was just like, yeah, it was just like really nasty, like fever, delirium, you know, like sweats, and lasted a few days. And yeah, that doesn't sound fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm on board for that. But I don't know, what can you do? Like, you can either just wrap yourself up in cotton wool, or you get out there and, you know, do your thing. And I know for some people, they don't have a choice. They've got to wrap themselves up and like keep safe. You know what I mean?
Right, because they have like what do you call it? Like they're immunocompromised or whatever.
Yeah. Some people like definitely shouldn't be, you know, getting it. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially as you get older and stuff. And like my mum, do you know what I mean? Like, she's got to be more careful because she's older, and you know, you get more fragile.
Totally. Yeah. I imagine if I had have gotten this shit, like, you know, even 10 years ago, I probably would have been fine. But yeah, I mean, even hitting like my mid 30s, I'm starting to feel everything more, you know, like you start getting those 2-3 day hangovers.
Yeah. 2 day hangovers. Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. And I sometimes I'll push it way too far. Like, I remember last year, it was my birthday. So this is like August. And I had like basically 2 weeks of solid partying. I was playing in Houston with Figure, and that was my actual birthday, and like got wrecked. And then the next day I went and played somewhere else. The party continued, flew into Vegas, met with some friends. We went off, like rented a bit Airbnb just outside Vegas, got hammered for 5 days, went and played Vegas, then carried on touring after that for another week, carried on celebrating, you know what I mean? and then went to Tahoe to my mate's house. And the whole point was, right, it was when like the fires was happening, right? So I flew into Tahoe, and I was a little bit nervous because I was thinking, shit, like I'm flying into a place that very, like, you know, could potentially, people might have to what's the word, when you get forced to evacuate. I was doing X for some reason, EX. I was thinking of evacuate. So I flew in there, and I got a couple of friends there, Logan and Bianca, who got a place, and I always go hang out with them. I love Tahoe, man. It's fucking beautiful. And I landed, and another friend of ours, Tyler, Tymek, who runs shows around like South Lake and around Tahoe, came. He was over because he had been evacuated from the South Lake, so he was over. And then I was supposed to be landing in Tahoe to have like a really chill 10 days exercise, or not 10 days, it's like 7 days, like relaxing, cycling, doing all those nice kind of Tahoe countryside things, getting over the last like 2 weeks of partying. And then because our friend was over, it just turned into another party of just like smoking and drinking for another like 7 days. And like, just at the end of that trip, my body just went, nah, like you've literally just pushed this way too far. You haven't stopped for like 2.5 weeks. And I just died. Like, I was supposed to be going to play golf. And my body just gave up for like, I was just, it was just a mess. I was just feeling like shit. And I was like, yeah, maybe 2.5 weeks of solid partying isn't the way to go, you know? Like, when you get a little bit older, you gotta be a little bit more careful of that kind of thing, you know? But you kind of forget, and you're just like, fuck it, hey, you know, I'll just keep going. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you're like, I've done this before. This will be fine.
I've done it before. I'll be all right. It'll be the same.
Right, especially if it's alcohol, dude. Alcohol is like the most fucking poisonous shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously other drugs that'll wreck you really hard too. Like, you know, I feel like 2.5 weeks straight on MDMA or something probably wouldn't be that.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be in a really good place, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, there is, I think, substances you can binge on. Not that I suggest doing it, but I mean, definitely ones that'll leave you in a lot better of a state than than alcohol will. Like weed, I feel like people smoke probably weed for weeks on end, and the worst thing that happens to them is they probably just don't get as much shit done as they normally do, and maybe eat a
I've
little more
started
food.
smoking again, like while I'm over here in the US. Like I'm now kind of, I haven't smoked for years and started smoking again, and it's nice, man. It's very relaxing, very chill. But I feel like I get less work done because I get a weed hangover in the mornings. So I'll like smoke in the evening and then I'll wake up in the morning and it'll take me, whereas usually I'm like up at 8, like exercise, studio. Like if I've been smoking the night before, I'm like up at 9:30, 10. Takes me a few hours to get my shit together, and like I might start working at like 1. You know what I mean? So it's I find it definitely makes me lazier. I wish it didn't, because if it didn't, then that would be like literally the perfect relaxation tool.
Yeah, I for whatever reason, I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was younger, but now it just gives me fucking seething anxiety, like really bad. And then to be fair, I haven't actually tried smoking weed in a while. Maybe it doesn't anymore, but and I know every time I say this, someone's just like, oh, maybe you haven't tried the right strain. Have you tried an indica?
Yeah.
And I was like,
right?
No, dude, trust. Like I've tried a lot of different weed. I lived in Colorado for 5 years. Like, like I lived in Denver proper for like 5 years just after they got it legalized, and I've tried a lot of weeds, and basically every time it just makes me feel like I need to go to hospital because I'm like having a medical emergency of some sort, whether it be like, and the weird like physical anxieties that I get from it is either think I'm having a heart attack, or which is why I thought the COVID thing was a heart attack, because I've like
right.
Or why I thought it was anxiety, because I've like had that anxiety before on shit like weed. So I either think it's that, or I get this other really weird shit where I think I've dislocated bones, where like I think I think my hip is like out of its socket, or I think my or I think my shoulder's out of its socket, and like
that sounds really unfun.
It's not fun, Or I think like I think my ribs are like not holding up properly, and they're starting to like bend in weird shapes. And like when your ribs feel like they're starting to bend, like your sternum starts to hurt, and like,
oh man, that sounds horrible.
It sucks, dude.
I definitely was hating, like I was like that, like getting like really bad anxiety. Like when I was a kid, I had like seizures, right? And so I went through a long period of like smoking and thinking, and like, like 17 to 20, like I'd smoke and I would sometimes I'd get really, really stoned, and then I'd have a seizure. So I'm like,
wait, so you're epileptic, or?
No, I mean, like it never got classed as epilepsy.
Okay, so I think what this might be then is what I've had before. It's called vasovagal syncope, and it's happened to me on weed as well. It's
oh really?
Yeah, it's not a seizure. It's just like you pass out, right?
No, like it's proper like seizure, like shaking, going blue, tongue going into your back of your throat and shit. Yeah, it was nasty.
Oh wow.
And it happened a bunch, like when I between like 17, 21 kind of thing. So like then later on when I kind of wanted to smoke a little bit of weed again, like it definitely, like I kind of had that direct relation, you know what I mean? Like of like, oh my God, like as soon as I started to feel a little bit high, I'd start, oh shit, am I going to have a seizure? Like I'd start freaking out and getting a bit like paranoid about it and getting anxious about it. And it's taken a while for me to finally, and if I haven't smoked for a while and I have my first smoke, I have to feel, I have to be in a really comfortable position, like not position, like place, like, and smoke a tiny bit. Like it's a joke. Like I'm literally like, like tiny puff, just to see how this specific strain of weed affects me, how I feel with it, how does it relax me? Does it make me a little bit edgy? So like I'll smoke a tiny bit, then I'll wait 10 minutes, see how I feel, smoke a little bit more, and then I'll just slowly ease into it like that. And then like a few days later, if I've got the same strain, I'm just like, it becomes much more relaxing. And I've found on this trip, I've just been able to smoke and not feel, you know, I'm not like sitting there doing massive like
15 gram dab YouTube challenges and shit.
I've just got like a little pipe, you know, and I'm just like this little tiny kind of. But
man, those
I feel
fucking
very relaxed.
YouTube dab challenge people are insane. They'll just have like these big long like strings of wax, and they'll just have a dab rig and like be feeding it in, like dabbing. It's
Did
like
you see the one the other day? Someone lit their hair. Like there's a dude, I think he puts like eggs. He put like raw eggs into the like bong, and then he puts he like does the fucking, you know, the bowl, and then he lights his hair on fire, does the whole bowl, drinks the eggs, and then uses the last of it or something to like put his hair out. It's something like that. Maybe I'm getting mistaken about two different things, but there's one with eggs and there's the one with someone lighting their hair on fire. Like, I think the eggs one is definitely like he does it through the eggs and then he drinks the eggs afterwards. I'm like, yeah.
All right, let's see. Eggs, fire, hair, video. I'm just going to search that into Google.
Bong. You got it. Did you put in there like
bong? Let's put that in there too. All the way up. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, okay. So this is all the way up there, 420, lighting his hair on fire, ripping a bong and putting out the fire. Uploaded September 29th, 2021, and it's got under 5,000 views. Oh my god, this dude's like fucking just lighting all of his hair on fire with a lighter.
Yeah, it's really like, why would you do that?
He doesn't have eggs in the bong, but his hair is for sure on fire. What the fuck?
I feel like,
dude, that's got a
eggs one.
stink. Oh yeah, and then putting it out with the bong water.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Bong, eggs.
Oh, dude, the top comment is very inspiring. And then someone else is like, nice, bro. I don't know how I never thought of this. Oh my god.
Warm raw eggs and bong water. Smoking with raw eggs. Yeah, there's raw eggs ones, but obviously, yeah, it's separate. It's obviously a separate thing. Yeah, it makes me, dude, that shit's crazy.
So dumb, dude.
The shit people do, it amazes me. Like, I'll always remember that Tide Pod thing, you know?
Oh yeah, where people are like trying to eat them and stuff. It's like, yeah, it was ridiculous. Cool, man. Well, hey, dude. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I'm glad we finally got this shit recorded.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Well, I mean, if you haven't heard the album, go check out the album because that came
What's it
out.
called?
It's called This Simulation's Breached.
Oh yeah, I listened to that actually.
Cool.
When we were first trying to organize to do this podcast.
Yeah.
I was doing some research.
Nice. There you go. So yeah, go have a listen to the album. And yeah, just fucking, that's it really. There's come see me if you see me coming to your town.
Tight. Where can people find all of your dates?
So everything is just Conrank. So it's like, you know, Instagram is Conrank, Twitter, Conrank, Facebook, Conrank. It's all Conrank. So it's fairly easy to find. So yeah, just search for all that stuff. It's all up there. Obviously, I don't know when this is dropping, but yeah, I mean, I'm in town until, I'm in like the US doing shows now till the 27th of Feb. So
cool. All right, dude. Well, yeah, thanks a lot.
No worries, dude. Thanks for having me, brother.
Of course.
I'll catch you soon.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Mr. Bill podcast. These episodes are edited and uploaded by Robert Fumo. You can also support the show, get early access to episodes, and hear bonus content by going to patreon.com/Mr. Bill's Tunes and becoming a patron. Please rate and review on iTunes unless you're going to be a little shit about it. And all the links to my various platforms are at MrBillsTunes.com. Thank you.